Good afternoon, Corky here from KL News. Recently, we have heard of Lynas. Lynas is a company from Australia which is responsible for rare earth mining and also processing it. Recently, they have constructed a new processing factory in a state called Kuantan in the country, Malaysia. And it is also said that it produces radioactive waste. Now we are going to invite Professor Yisheng to explain about radioactivity. Hi, nice to meet you, Professor Yisheng.
Nice to meet you too.
So, what is radioactivity?
From my research, radioactivity is where radioactive rays are released and causes disturbance to the ecosystem by killing or mutating cells present in living creatures. If you are under exposure of radiation for a long time, it could cause you cancer and it also will cause your life.
Other than that, what diseases will be caused?
For radiation exposure, it's mostly cancer, but leukemia, in some cases, there are also leukemia cases.
I see. Thank you for your time, Professor Yisheng.
You're welcome. Go.
Other than that, Lynas has also received a very big reaction from the citizens of Malaysia due to the health effects it might lead to. Protests and campaigns were also made to stop Lynas. Lynas' impact was so huge that even a couple of young boys decided to go against it. Here are some videos.
Today, I read the newspaper, I see Lynas. I'm very sad because Lynas produce radiation. Daddy also very sad because later Daddy kena radiation and boom! Daddy die already.
But never mind, still got doggy. Cause of Lynas, radiation spread, doggy become bloody. Now got disease and boom! Die.
You see this kangaroo? Kangaroo from Aussie. Everybody hate him. Why? Because he bring Lynas here. We Malaysians must fight Lynas. See? Malaysian tiger. Must fight Lynas. Fight Aussie. Fight kangaroo. Boom! Kangaroo died. Together, we must stop Lynas. Malaysians, Lynas. No! 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 Bye-bye.
That's all for today. Thank you for watching KL News. Good day.
I'm here with Dr. Richard Besser because we want to know the effects on the body.
That's
when
right.
it comes to this.
You know, when you're exposed to radiation, it's going to affect your entire body. But there are three parts of the body I want to talk about that are affected most. The first is your GI tract, your gastrointestinal tract. When you're exposed to radiation, it can cause damage to that tract in the same way that someone undergoing cancer therapy will have damage to that. So they'll experience nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. If you have large amounts of input of radiation, it can destroy the lining, which can be fatal. The second part I want to talk about is your thyroid gland. That's in your neck. This is your thyroid. It makes a hormone that your body uses to regulate many, many functions. But it does that by using iodine. And one of the things released by reactors is radioactive iodine. It comes into your body and your thyroid gland will concentrate it. And over the long run, that will cause cancer. That's a reason why they give people these iodine tablets.
What do they do, actually, these tablets?
Well, instead of your body absorbing the radioactive iodine, it will use this instead, and that will protect your thyroid from that cancer. The third area I want to talk about is your bones, your bone marrow. Inside your bones, that's where your body is making all the components of your blood. Your white blood cells would protect against infection. Your platelets, which protect against bleeding. With radiation, it can wipe that out, and that can cause bleeding, and it can cause infection, and those things can be fatal.
Before we talk about the risk factors that are involved here, but the symptoms, are you coughing? What are you exactly doing knowing that you are exposed to this radiation?
Well, the earliest signs are those from your gastrointestinal tract. So nausea, vomiting, fever, diarrhea. The unfortunate thing is those can look like a stomach flu, and And when you have all these people being evacuated, you can see that, and they'll have to sort out the difference between those two.
All right, so let's get to the risk factors now.
You know, it's important to know what puts you at greatest risk. First is proximity. How close are you to the release of that radiation? The second factor is intensity. How much radiation is released, and is there any barrier between you and that radiation? Those barriers, even being indoors, can reduce the risk to you. And then the third is duration. How long are you there? One of the things that was known from Chernobyl was that the iodine release that people were first exposed to wasn't the big risk factor. That iodine fell on the ground and contaminated grass. Cows ate that grass and it was concentrated in their milk. So over the next months and years, children were drinking contaminated milk and they had massive outbreaks of thyroid cancer.
So it was in that manner in which it got into the body, not so much the exposure.
That's right.
From
So
the
you'll
radiation in
see
the air.
here, the Japanese will say, don't eat food, don't drink things that come from that area that's been impacted.
If people are concerned, you're going to have suggestions of what they can do?
abcnews.com will be putting out tips on what you can do, and I'll be tweeting all day things you can do to make sure you're not affected should there be a release.
All right, Rich, thank you very much.